Hello world. We did it. It's working. We're live, baby. OnlyFillers, the side quest to your main story. I'm LDJ, and with me, hopefully always, it's Steve, aka Sabusa TV, aka the American Creators. What's up, fish?
Ah, it's been a strange day. No, it hasn't been strange at all. It's actually really common for things to happen when you try to get something started, which is nothing
My
new.
God. Oh my God.
Welcome, I told you, welcome to this lovely creation process where everything that could go wrong will go wrong when you least expect it.
Hopefully, it's gonna work from here on. It's been hard to start this stream, so let's enjoy it. Whatever happens, happens, man. But any plans for Christmas? We're close to Christmas, man.
Well, I'm supposed to. Well, Christmas is Saturday, so we're supposed to go to my father's-in-law. So we're going to spend the night there, with my sister-in-law. That's how you say it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Uh, she's gonna be there as well, so we're gonna maybe just hang out, family dinner. Nothing fancy at all. Just some get together and just a quiet time. How about you? How's the family going? Oh no, this is not your first Christmas there, or is it?
Yeah, this is our first Christmas here in the US, and we're
Oh,
gonna be just the three of us. I'm gonna cook. We're gonna have some time here. Hopefully next week we can travel, maybe close by, see something nice. And it's cold, so we're expecting maybe snow next week. So who knows what will happen? So, man, we finally did it. We made it. We have a packed filler today. We're gonna talk a lot of trash. We're gonna
awful.
talk games 2023, game of the year, awards or games awards, I should say, and whatever we want to talk about really. So, from everyone, for everyone listening, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know the jazz. And let's start with our first topic. It's the most anticipated games of 2023. But first, I'm just gonna read a little bit of what is coming these next few months for video games, right? So just like some of your top games coming in January, for example, we have your One Piece Odyssey coming for Spoken, Dead Space. In February, we have Dead Island 2, Howard's Legacy. It's really close, right? Wild Hearts, Atomic Heart, Sons of the Forest, Destiny 2, Lightfall. Um, and in March, we have the day before Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Crime Boss from Rock City, so it's coming in March. Then in May, we have the Suicide Squad. In June, we have Street Fighter, Diablo 4. And then, without any date in particular, we have Alan Wake 2, for example, Arc 2, Assassin's Creed, Avatar, Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 16, Lord of the Rings, Return to Moria, Minecraft Legends, Starfield, Stellar Blade, Warhammer 4K. So it's gonna be a packed year, right? It's gonna be a packed year in terms of games. So Steve, aka Sabusa, hit us with your most anticipated games, I should say, of 2023. Let's start with your first one.
Okay, so we're going 1-1. Okay,
Yeah.
so well, at least on my side, my most anticipated for 2023, because as with every new year, you're gonna start saying it wrong for at least 6 months.
Maybe.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, documents are a mess. So good luck with that. At least for me, the most anticipated will be Final Fantasy VII Part 2. Hopefully, things go well. I'm looking forward to it. Recently, you have been playing the DLC.
Good. Juicy. Yeah, I've been doing that.
Okay, cool. And I haven't got the chance, and especially because I lost PlayStation Extra, I definitely lost my chance with that. But hopefully, during the this year, I get a maybe I can get back to it and
Hmm.
have a little reminder. Especially, I would like to play if Final Fantasy VII Part Two comes out. I would love to play the at least the DLC before that, just to get like the whole
Sure,
package, the whole experience.
sure, sure. Okay, I can see that. So, Final Fantasy VII Part Two. What are you hoping Square Enix delivers and fixes from the Part One?
Okay, Part One, I think so. Like I know, like Final Fantasy at the end of the day is a Japanese game.
Yeah,
That's the
sure.
one.
It's not it's
That's
not target for Americans per se, but a lot of Americans do love it. Let's say, but it's targeted for Japanese. Yeah.
exactly. And some of the humor because of it is complicated, or can or some maybe some of the jokes don't land well, especially with the translation, or maybe the
Yeah.
voice acting. Maybe they needed a little more of a because some of them were new. Some a lot of the I read recently something I didn't know before this is that a lot of the voice cast was changed for this new reiteration of the game, for this new introduction of the characters, because
Okay.
all the voice acting was different from because before this we have the movie, the Final Fantasy VII movie,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
they did a great job with on the voice acting department. The voice of Sephiroth was amazing. The voice of Cloud was amazing too. But with this new game, they wanted a new cast, like a more fresh approach, a more young talent, uh,
Sure.
to reintroduce the characters again once more. Like this is like I don't know what time already they keep showing these same characters, but they keep tweaking things here and there. So it's messy, but this is a new cast. So I think maybe they didn't do a bad job at all. I played first of all I played the game in English, so that
Yeah.
was good. I like it. I cannot see myself playing Final Fantasy in Japanese. I don't know. That's me. That's me. But they were okay. They weren't bad, but hopefully with the next the voice acting keeps improving. And also what I think my biggest concern, and I'm gonna talk a little bit in deep about this later, is i don't want it I don't want them to mess it up. I just want them yeah, because it is what it is. There's so many things that can go wrong with this IP, this beloved IP that has been with us for what more than 20 years. I don't know.
Mm, something like that. Sure.
Yeah, so there's such established fan base and people that love these characters that grew up with these characters. I'm one of them. I'm sure you are as well, and many other
Yeah.
people. So it hits really close to you when things go wrong. I love the remake. I love the game. I enjoy the game. I
Me
played
too.
it.
It was such.
Yeah.
I think it was like a fresh air. Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air because they didn't make like a scene by scene remake, but where they filled the gaps, it was great. Um, they had to do a lot of, I don't know. I think you felt it too. They had to do a lot of rethinking about the gameplay, right? Because you couldn't do a turn-based system in 2020 or whatever it was. So you needed to improve that system and be and target it for a modern audience. But they did a great job. I think everyone enjoyed. I enjoyed Barrett's, for example, performance. It was great. I think it was one of the most iconic, I think, characters like in the voice acting at least. So yeah, sure. We don't want it to like we don't want them to mess, especially with the lore. I think the lore is key, right? Because that's what you most remember of the original game, right?
Exactly, exactly. That's a key point there because the game. Well, it kind of follows the same story as the original, but somewhere around the end of the remake, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Spoilers alert! Spoiler alert! If you haven't finished it, but yeah,
yeah, it's been too long. It can be considered a spoiler, but yeah, spoiler alert.
yeah.
By the end of the game, they try to deviate from the original story and open up to new possibilities, which is good because, like, you're who wants to be told the same story over and over again?
Yeah.
So it's great that they open the way for whatever they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but at least they should, like, I don't know if respect the at least don't go
Too
expanding
crazy?
or whatever. Yeah, yeah, like you're entitled to do whatever you want with what your product, right? But at the end of the day, I keep saying it. It's something that is so close to every single person that loves the game. Is so close to them, or they grew up with it that it will be. That's why there's so many ways they can mess it up.
So
It's divisive.
let me ask you a question.
Mm.
What happens if they go and save the beloved character that should die? You know the meme that it's going around, right? Like
Which
this
one?
time save her. You know, have you seen
Say
it?
it. I haven't seen it.
So you know who dies, right? Everyone knows who dies.
Well, at this point, yeah, it shouldn't be any surprise. And actually, I think they're like they're in the game, the remake game. I think there are kind of some flashbacks to it, like quick flashes of it happening. But obviously, if you play the original, you know. If you don't, well, I don't know what can I say for to you,
Yeah. So Ares is supposed to die, right?
right?
But so at the end of Final Fantasy VII, they opened the possibility to defeat Fate, right? That was like the end boss. At least like philosophically, it was Fate, right? You are now you're no longer bounded by fate, and now you are open to possibilities. That's what I got from the end of the first part, right? So what happened if in the second part they save Ares, right, and she doesn't die? Is that a possibility?
It could be. I wouldn't I wouldn't be mad if that happens because it's not like I want her to die.
Okay,
No,
okay,
it's
cool.
just,
So that's a change that you will be okay with, right?
yeah,
With
yeah,
them.
yeah, but it will be. But at the same, here. That's the thing. You see, you're doing it like that's the
Little
thing.
side job.
You're changing. You're making changes. I don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself that the new audience or whatever people that are playing the game right now that weren't exposed to the original one are
Mhm.
are not going to experience the same.
Yeah.
And
So it has some consequences, right? So Ares died, and it had some consequences on Claude, obviously. But maybe they show us like possibilities, right? If Ares doesn't die, then Claude maybe struggles with against Sephiroth, or loses against Sephiroth, and so they have to go back and allow Ares to die, so and fix the timeline. So when you open to Fate, maybe we're talking also here about some time parallels or stuff like that, which can get tricky, right? Every time any franchises touches time traveling or time parallels, it gets tricky to do, right? It's messy. It gets messy with the lore. So
well, on that note, well, that's the thing. Yeah, time travel in every kind of universe. Marvel did it. They kind of pulled it off. Uh, well, maybe for younger people, it doesn't make sense, but this is supposed to be targeted to younger people. Back to the Future did it with its ups and downs, but time travel makes creators and writers play with it as much as they want. But hopefully, it will make sense in his own way that is um understandable in a simple way. Time travel is never easy, but is I don't know if they go that way, how they will pull it off in a decent way. Standard chat, private chat, comments. What can I have? Ah, nice. I
Okay.
think we got. Now you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I think I get it. Okay. So let's move now to this next.
Okay,
Uh,
you go. Which is your most anticipated game of 2023?
so to stay in the family, it's Final Fantasy 16. No, this is a controversial one, but let me explain why. Right. So the main line stories or games for Final Fantasy Final Fantasy in general, um, they have been like stuck, right? Final Fantasy 15 was mixed back, right? It got mixed review. Um, it wasn't as good as I thought many were hoping for a modern Final Fantasy 7. Final Fantasy, I'm sorry. So Square Enix got on board a legend that is the main reason why I trust this project and I think it's gonna be good. And it's the producer Yoshida, right? So Naoki Yoshida is the producer of Final Fantasy 14, the MMORPG. He was in charge of reviving that MMORPG. So for those that do not know, um, Yoshida took Final Fantasy 14 when it was complete trash. It was worse than trash, right? It was like dog shit. It had many problems with the game engine, with the game itself, with production, with money, with everything. And he took that project, an MMORPG that is very difficult, and he was able to turn it around, right? And now is I think it's the best MMORPG probably in market, right? It's even more popular right now. Some say than even World of Warcraft. And the community loves Final Fantasy 14. So he has the street rep, if you would like to say that, right? Uh, and and Yoshida has acknowledged that Final Fantasy as a game series was stuck in doing that transition into a modern game, right? And they did something. I was reading this the other day, so they did something that was really interesting. I thought is that they made a survey, and they asked the fan base what do they prefer, right? Like a more fast-paced action game, right? Like modern, right? Like God of War or others, and versus having a more strategic turn-based game, right? And even though the the fan base was split almost like half and half, he made the decision to go into the more modern style of gameplay, but keeping in focus what make Final Fantasy, and it's the story, right? What I think what we all remember most of Final Fantasies, like 9, 7, and others, it's the story, right? It was a very well story written, in a RPG, right? It's an RPG with a great story. And so they have built like this sure action game. It looks amazing. And I don't know if you've seen the trailers. So it looks amazing. It's gonna release in this summer of 2023. It's not an open world, right? So they said we don't need an open world, which amen, right? You don't need an
Do,
open world to tell a story.
no, sorry. I just this open world trend is understandable to a certain degree,
Sure.
but it's not necessary for every game. Some games can be fine with just being themselves and not with trying to be whatever is trending on the market lately.
Correct, correct. And there are some good open worlds and that they tell a story, right? You have Horizon, you have Ghost of Tsushima, but he said we don't need to be he said that they don't need it to be an open world. It's gonna be like open areas. I think something like Final Fantasy 7 did, or that game of war God of War does all the time, right? So you have like open areas where you can do some exploration, but it's not like the whole open world. And then you go from area to area as you advance in the story, which I found that it's great. That's amazing. If you're going to tell a good story, you know how you're going to deliver it. And they have like one element that I thought it was amazing to explore in this Final Fantasy like universe, and it's the focus on summons, right? They do not call it summons. They call it like icons and dominance and whatever. But you know it. It's they are summons. It's Ifrit. It's Bahamut. It's Phoenix. It's any of them, right? So they are going to play like a central part. It's gonna be six of them, and there are six kingdoms or dominions or whatever, and they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight like a political struggle, and basically one of a summon is just like a nuke, right? It's just like a weapon of mass destruction that each one of these countries or kingdoms get, and then you're gonna tell story around that and around how uh, calling a summon or a dominant or dominant affects the person, right? So you've been using summons and you know these summons like for all Final Fantasies. Now they are going to like try to tell a story around how you get affected by using them those summons and how you are going to fight using those summons too. So you are going to fight using the main character, and then when he turns into Phoenix or turns into whatever, it's going to fight Ifrit. It's going to fight Shiva, whatever. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be different. So it's looking very good. It's looking very nice. They made an emphasis in telling the story without any loading scenes. So it's gonna be completely new gen. So you're gonna be fighting or looking at the scenes and then jumping straight into the action seamless. So I think that's gonna be amazing. So I think I've seen enough and I know the people that are behind it to have hope that they're gonna turn around the franchise and have a good game. They've made the good decision to think about the American audience first and not last. So in Final Fantasy 15, they did like the translation like right at the end and it wasn't very thought about it. In this game they have done it from the beginning, right? They have done like the translation and the mock-ups, or I don't know, the script, the capture they do right for the faces and the lip sync. It's done also in English. So you're not going to have like a character speaking Japanese, but with an English audio, right? It's going to be a character that is doing speaking English and sounding English. So it's going to be great for us too. So that's my most anticipated. I think it's going to be a good year for Square Enix, and I'm hoping to see a good result in Final Fantasy 16 this summer when it releases.
Yeah, I Square Enix has a lot going on for this new year. Hopefully, everything lands. Everything is what is supposed to be. And it's funny. It's funny the summon focus that they're giving this game, because summons have been part of Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 4 or 5. Can't remember which one exactly, but basically, pretty much since the start of the series. Let's say it's the start of the series, but the only I of the main titles, I think the only Final Fantasy that gave the proper like focus on the summons, or at least a different approach, was Final Fantasy X, where you were able to use the summons, actually to actually use them in combat, give them commands, and all. Something that never happened again.
Okay.
And on Final Fantasy 15, they did something worse with the summons. Yes, that you cannot control them at all. Like, I haven't played the game, but I read so much about it that is basically like it never got my attention for whatever reason. I don't know. The word didn't pick my attention. It didn't matter to me.
The Backstreet Boys on the road didn't
Yeah,
feel
but
your attention, man. Why?
I don't know if five guys. I don't know how many they are. Four or
Three. I
five. Can't
think
remember.
four, three, yeah, something like that.
No, it's not three. It's like it's there's a skinny guy, there's a big guy, there's a glasses guy, and there's
A
and
bad
there's
boy. There's gotta be a bad
the
boy.
yeah, that's the muscle guy,
Okay.
the king, something like that, and he's
Okay.
they are protecting him. They are his royal guard or bodyguards, whatever you want to
Bodyguards.
call
Okay.
it. Yeah. So they go with him with Lactus, can't remember his name, and but the game, the approach they took was the release of the game was a mess, was a complete mess, because in order to understand their story, you cannot only play the game, you had to watch some
No,
YouTube episodes,
that's
then you have to purchase DLC, then you have to there was something else. The YouTube, and like the story is all over the place. So in order to
fragmented. Yeah.
and they publish it in, so in order to actually experience the game at 100%, you have to, take all these pieces and somehow know the order and understand it in a way that makes sense or is approachable to you. But
Mm.
going back to the summons, you cannot summon them at will. They appear randomly in the world, and people have tell like, "Oh, I played this game and I only see Trin during my whole playtime." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Ah, that's cool."
I hate that. I hate when a game takes control out of the player. You know,
Of the yeah, yeah.
I was just playing Final Fantasy VII, the intermission, right? And there are some scenes where they slow down your character because they just want to, right? You're, I don't know, you're in a platform and they don't want you to run, they want you to walk, or they are going in a space where you're supposed to be silent. So the character goes really silent, it goes really slow. I completely hate. So I cannot imagine playing a game where one of the main reasons you're playing like a summon, these huge animations and that did amount of damage, right? Just to be something random. I think that's a huge L from Final Fantasy 15. Thank God Final Fantasy 16 has focused, has changed that, right? You are going to, like in Final Fantasy 10, you are going to play as one of the summons, and you're gonna fight against one of the summons. And they have said that each fight is gonna be different. Like each fight, they have not only different abilities, but like a different gameplay feeling, right? Because it's not the same to play, I don't know, Bahamut versus Phoenix, that playing Ifrit versus any other, right? So it's gonna be like different. So that focus, I think you mentioned it. You cannot just leave that in the open, right? It's been part of Final Fantasy since almost the beginning, and everybody knows it, right? Who doesn't know that Final Fantasy has Ifrit? That you're gonna use Ifrit, right? And you're gonna be able to do some fiery thing with Ifrit. It's part of the game, right? And you cannot leave it. Yeah, I hate when you take control out of the game.
Yeah, it's so engraved of the lore on the lore that Bahamut is a dragon. Ifrit is this kind of fiery entity, and all that. This for people that like if you're playing Final Fantasy 16, I think it's because you have played something before it. You're not coming. Oh no, let me try this new franchise. I don't know where.
No.
It's not that easy. Oh, we have some people on the chat here. Hey, Brian.
There
So
he is.
and Andrew, hello. And so yes, that's something that's supposed to be there. So yeah, hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully we get to enjoy it. Hopefully is they don't release the story in a complete mess like they did on 15. Hopefully they learn from that experience and they're not gonna try to pull it up somehow.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully, looking forward summer 2023. Let's see what happened. Okay, your turn, man. Hit us with another anticipated game
I,
2023.
I I'm noticing a trend on my anticipating games, and is that there are at least like the ones I'm hoping for the most, hoping the most are remakes. So
Okay.
I will like what happens to see what happens with Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil. Good, man.
And we
Good.
haven't finished the 6.
Just yeah. So for the audience, we bought like a bundle to play together, like the old original Resident Evils, and we were playing them, but but then we bought a bunch of other games and subscriptions, and then we played like 6, 7 other games. Um, and we haven't done that, but we need to do it. We need to do it again.
Yeah,
It's
we gotta finish that one, but
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be done. I
it's
don't
gonna be
know
done.
when, soon, but yeah. Uh, okay, so going back to Resident Evil 4, the thing with it is that the trailer at least looks amazing. You got Resident Evil 4, you haven't played it, so now it's on you not
Yeah,
being
not true.
in the mix for supposedly, or many people call it one of the best Resident Evils, or the Resident Evil that changed it all compared to the previous entries. That because Resident Evil 1, well, was groundbreaking on his own way with static cameras, static angles, and with its premeditated backgrounds and all
Hmm.
that. That was good. Second took a better approach. Took what the first did well and improved upon it,
Sure.
and the third one took a more maybe action approach. Well, it was still Resident Evil, but the Nemesis added to the mix, gave it a more like combat focused approach. It was good.
Hmm.
And then came Resident Evil 4, and everything changed because now you got this camera that, if you think about it, Resident Evil 4 is responsible for the camera of God of War 2018.
That like side camera that is
Yeah,
following you. It's like
yeah,
yeah,
like
it's like
it's
here.
not behind you, but it's like up in an angle that lets you see the character, but at the same time focus on the background. That
Hmm.
way, it gives you like a more focus on combat because you're able to see what's in front of you and hopefully turn around fast depending on the kind of game. Resident Evil 4 is not a game where you can move fast, but it was totally different to what came before. And many people regard it as the best game of all time. And it has been released in like Resident Evil 4 is one of the games that has been released, I think, in pretty much every single platform. It was originally released on the GameCube, which it didn't make sense at all. For somehow Nintendo got exclusive rights to Resident Evil 4. Then it was released on the PlayStation 2. I got it. I obviously I played it on Resident Evil. No, 2 or 3. I think it
I
was
think
two.
it's three. Yeah, it was
3.
two. I don't know. I don't know.
I have
Okay.
it. I have it in my closet. I can't remember, but well, yeah, much more. No, makes much more sense that it's three. Let's say PlayStation 3. Then it was upgraded for PlayStation 4, obviously. Then there's even a Resident Evil 4 version for mobile, which is the worst. Is the worst. Is the worst
Wow.
iteration of Resident Evil 4. I don't know how they pulled that off, but they did it. It's also on PC. It's also well, you can play on PlayStation 5. It will be the PlayStation 4 version, but still you can play it
Yeah.
in pretty much every single platform. I think they re-release it for Nintendo. I'm not quite sure of that, but pretty much if you play Resident Evil 4, most likely you have at least two copies of it in a different platform. In my case, I at least have it in PlayStation 3 and in PlayStation 4 because I just like the game. That's how it is. And they make little visual improvements and all that. But now we got a new game from the ground, like
It's a complete
supposed.
remake, right? It's
Yeah,
not.
it's
Yeah.
they
It's
took
not a
the
reskin. It's not a reskin. It's a
no,
remake.
it's a total new remake, like the one, like what they did to Final Fantasy VII. So it's a new engine. It's everything. There's supposed to be improvement. There's supposed to be maybe changes in the story. I don't know,
Okay.
maybe. But again, hopefully, I don't see why they will need to change Resident Evil 4.
I think
But
I think
hmm,
most of these companies that are there doing remakes, when they say changing the story, I think they what they mean is just expanding a little bit and maybe getting more context in some parts. Maybe I don't know. You didn't have like the voice acting that you have right now, right? And you didn't have even the motion capture that you can do with actors right now. So you can expand a little bit more into the storytelling. It used to be just text, right? So maybe they are just wanting to expand a little bit more. I hope. I don't know.
actually, Resident Evil, the other thing with the original Resident Evil 4. It was one of the few games, like it was groundbreaking for his side, not only for his different approach to the gameplay and all, but also because they did a lot of motion capture, like with real actors and everything, and voice acting is like you need to play it after we finish the six, or
Yeah.
before that. I don't know, but like if you play, like Resident Evil 4 has aged so well that you will play it today and it will still hold up to to the to all this recognition and all these like merits that got, like how many years ago, I don't know, like that's an old game by today's standards, but it still holds up because it was that good and it's still that good, and there's nothing like it today, which is really strange because they even did a remake. Like they've been remaking these games already. They did it
Hmm.
with Resident Evil 2, a total new game, different approach, different story, and they did it with Resident Evil 3. It was controversial because somehow you can finish the game in, I don't know, 4 hours, and people were debating to 4 or 5 hours, and people were debating if you should pay $70 or a full game price for 5 hours of enjoyment. Because basically what they did is that they took the engine and all the work they did on Resident Evil 2 and they use it and just translate it to Resident Evil 3. So they didn't create anything new or nothing in particular. Maybe Nemesis, but I mean, you cannot have Resident Evil 3 without Nemesis, so it's
So yeah,
supposed to be
sure.
there.
Yeah, maybe
But
they needed to expand a little bit more the story, right? That they should.
that's well, that's the other thing. Resident Evil 3 wasn't a long game to begin with, so that's the issue. Like Resi- it- Resident Evil 3, the new one, the remake, the actual one, feels more like a DLC than a standalone game,
By
and
today's
that's
standards, right? By today's standards, yeah, sure.
exactly. So it's really it's a delicate balance and a complicated debate, because why should I pay that much money for something that's gonna get me, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 hours of gameplay, when I can buy freaking Elden Ring and suck 100 hours of my life because there's so much to do in one single game, and like
Sure, 100 hours is like the minimum, right, for Elden Ring. So yeah,
supposedly, because it's a really skill based game, so it also depends on you. So if you're bad, it's gonna take you longer. If you're good, maybe, well, you're gonna cut some hours, but still a long game.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. So definitely, Resident Evil 4. It's like up there, right? In what the stuff like people are looking forward to seeing, right, and enjoying. I think it's gonna come out. I've seen like the graphs and stuff. It's gonna look great. It does look great, right? Just like Resident Evil 3, the remake looked great, and as you said, it's one of the best Resident Evils. So they cannot screw it up uh, that hard. It's I think it's a little bit more guarded, if you want to say, like it's a little bit more protected. Uh, Compared to the other remakes that we have spoke about, like for example Final Fantasy VII, right, where maybe you can screw up a little bit more. I think Resident Evil 4, it's better guarded just because it's complete story, right? I don't know what you think.
Well, is like, mm, the my main what got me more worried about Resident Evil 4 is, I guess, is the story. But I think it will be really really hard for people not to like it, because at the end of the day, people love the remake of second and the Resident Evil 2 and 3, but but everyone's scared of what's going to happen to Resident Evil 4, because everyone says the same, like, er- everything Resident Evil 4 was fine, so how you gonna improve of something on something that is already at the top? That's the issue. And I think Final Fantasy 7 has like the same baggage on it that makes it so, like, it's I think it's a 50-50 chance. Like, it can go well, it can go it can go, like, it can be, everything can be perfect and cheery and unicorns and babies and baby bears and, yeah, pandas, whatever. But then it could be the total opposite. It could go to hell for whatever reason. They can blow it up in a minute. I don't know. It's I don't want it. I don't want that to happen. I hope that doesn't happen. But it's not up to me. And hopefully we get to see the best version, or to actually, the people that working on the project, or the people in charge, is someone that understand what they're dealing with, I think.
Good. Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so Resident Evil now. Let's move on. Mine, it's not gonna be a remake, so we're good. No more remakes. No, I think there's one more remake in the list. So I have Starfield also as a game to be um, looking forward in 2023. Starfield is Bethesda's new IP, a new game. So cries for us PlayStation owners, because it's gonna come for Xbox, I think, first. And so Bethesda, when I think of Bethesda, right, of um, I think of innovation, right? I think of pushing forward gameplay. Sometimes it pay offs, sometimes it doesn't, right? I think of gore sometimes, right? Doom, yeah. Wolfenstein, a little bit, yeah. So uh, that that alone get me excited for an open world in space. It's a shooter. Um, but this open world, we don't have anything against open world. Every there are spaces for open world. This is one of them, right? Because you are using the open world for exploration, right? If you're gonna do open world, it's because you want people to explore different scenes, different environments, different monsters, whatever, right? And you are going to interact with those different environments. So what I've seen from Starfield is just amazing exploration in your spaceship. They have like deep RPG elements, right? You can build your spaceship. You can build in every one of the planets. You can build your own um, like post and hire people to maintain your post and then get materials from that planet to build. Basically you're building your federation, you're building a federation, if you will, of planets that you are exploring and let's say conquering, right? And you are shooting, so you have, yeah, the exploration, yeah, it's beautiful, whatever, but you're also getting into like that core element of Bethesda of shooting and just blowing people up and in space. So you're using gravity zero. Sometimes you're doing also spaceships battles. So it has a lot. When you look into Starfield and you go into some of the gameplay they have shown, it has a lot, right? So they say that it has like over 1,000 planets you can explore. You can shoot like a first person shooter. You can have starship battles. So you have a lot of things you can do. You can then customize your ships, like if you were building it, to do different things and test it. So it looks really cool. So if you're a fan of an open world, right, and maybe in 2023 you are looking for an open world just to burn hours of exploration and maybe just chilling out, right? When I think of an open world, I just think of chilling out in my sofa and just doing some trophy content or just collection content, right? I want to collect every whatever they want to throw out in the space, and I want to be able to do this and that. And so if you're looking for an open world, I think this is going to be the open world of 2023, right? You don't need every game to be an open world, but if you are going to do a good one and you want to play a good one, I think this is going to be that that one that's going to scratch like that need for an open world, of just playing 80, 100 hours of exploration and stuff like that and enjoying it. I think that's what got me excited for Starfield, is just to see that there is a good open world, that it looks like it's a good open world being built, right? Not just for the sake of being trendy or being with the fashion, but because you want to do something with that open world. And I think Bethesda is doing that. I'm gonna be sad because I will have to play it on a PC, and I don't have a PC right now to play it. But who knows, in the future maybe it will come out for PlayStation or something like that. So that's Starfield 2023.
Yeah,
What you got?
I haven't heard much Starfield, so I cannot say much about it. Hopefully, Bethesda has his ups and downs.
Sure.
He has his great games. He has his okay games, and he has and the bad games are they're not bad. They're terrible, but but hopefully it goes well because he's really ambitious. Is
Ambitious.
really
Yeah.
he has a lot going for it, but at the same time is they make promises like this before in another game. Sky, what's his name? Sky.
Yeah,
Uh,
but was it Bethesda? I think it was.
no, it was
Uh,
a different. It was a different studio, but I can't
yeah,
remember the
yeah.
name of it.
I know the one. I think I know the one you meant. But it was a game full of bugs, right? It was just and Bethesda sometimes releases with bugs, right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
but hopefully it goes well. Yeah. We're not trying to get hate on any of these games or saying like, oh, you're mentioning all these, but
no,
keep saying
it's
bad things.
anticipated. So right, it's our most anticipated. That means that these are the ones we're looking forward the most, right? Like we're most excited, if you will, for
Exactly.
this game. That means that we hope they come out well, right? It's $70,
but
so
but that doesn't make us blind, so
blind. Yeah,
that's
sure, sure, sure. That's good.
okay. So it's my turn. Well, I would like uh this ip, I think this ip, this current ip I'm going to talk about is in a difficult spot right now, but is a beloved IP by many people. And I one of the games I wanted to do well this 2023 is Hogwarts Legacy, because
Ooh, controversy. Let's do it.
I no I wanted to go to do well. I wanted to that the game gets the game is good. I just want the game to be good. It doesn't have to be game of the year or anything like that. But
Sure, they don't have
I
to
want
be any of them.
yeah, I want it to be good because it's an interesting proposal. Harry Potter. I think I only played one Harry Potter game in my life. I think that was back in PlayStation One. So I'm talking more than
Wow.
well, I don't know, at this point something around 20 years ago. So that's my only um, the only approach that I've been the closest I've been to the hardcore game. So I haven't played anything after it, and it was like based on the first movie, The Philosopher's Stone, and we all know that the first movie of Harry Potter is very, it's not, I don't want to say childish, but has is really focused for
It's a more
a
hard.
younger audience.
Yeah, it's a more heartfelt, heartwarm. Yeah,
Ex-
these books they began for kids, so it's
mhm.
most for kids. Yeah,
And it's understandable. It's okay. It's all
it's
right.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
It is what it is. But this game
Mhm.
is supposed to have a more, uh, I guess, I don't want to say adult approach. I want to say more mature approach regarding his audience, because pretty much everyone that grew up with Harry Potter to this point is pretty much us. Is around
30,
our age.
30-year guys bolding. Say it like it is, man.
Boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom. Yeah, boomer guy with a lot of
yeah,
doing a podcast and talking about their feelings on a camera.
yeah.
Yeah,
Old
and
man yelling to a cloud. That's the audience. Yeah,
yeah, that's me. But you, according to you, that's me.
yeah.
Most of the time with every Marvel movie, but
Every
whatever.
Marvel. Yeah.
But I want the game to be to at least, because it's such a huge IP and you can do whatever you want with it. So if they mess it up, it's on them, obviously, because I don't know, maybe combat is lame, maybe the story is bad, maybe it messes with the current story, and I don't know. But I want it to be a good game because it could be something really different. And Harry Potter has this lore, this world building, this established world already. Like with what? How many books? There are seven, eight
And the
books.
news, yeah. Hopefully,
Yeah,
she doesn't keep changing the lore, right?
yeah. The problem with J.K. Rowling is that she got drunk on power. No,
She has too much power. Yeah.
she became too powerful. So now whatever she says is true. No matter how weird, strange, or I don't know where it is. Whatever she says is true because yeah, it's
So
her. Yeah, is
her
her
IP.
creation,
Yeah.
but but come on, well, like why was that really necessary? No, nobody asked for that, and you just said it and like okay, whatever. And Ginny became Quidditch professional, and she lived happy ever after, whatever. And it doesn't make sense. But I'm on other things that I don't want to get into because that will be
Another
that will be
podcast.
a,
That's another
it's,
podcast
no,
entirely.
that's yeah. So just leave it at that, basically.
Yeah. So I'm gonna save my comments on Howard Legacy because I'm gonna talk about it in our next section. But yeah, definitely it's a controversial one. I will say that. Let's move so we can get to that. My next, and I think this is my last one that I'm looking forward. Right, I'm looking forward. Dead Space. So I this is a project I didn't know a lot, but I saw a couple of showcases, and it piqued my interest. This is a remake, right? So many of you know it, maybe the audience may know it. So it's a remake again. It's gonna respect, and we have a lot of remakes in 2023, right? So they say that it's gonna respect the core basis of this game, which is a horror game, right? And for those who love for horror games like Fear, for example, back in the days, these games are meant to keep you like on your feet or like on the edge of your seat all the time, not necessarily fighting all the time, but just feeling the tension, feeling right, the intensity of the scenarios, of the music. You trip, everything sounds, everything is it's scary. So this is a space horror game, and what they have done is just obviously improve on the graphics, but add on systems that I think are amazing. What I have seen, so they have two systems. Steve, I want to share them with you. Their alive steam and their intensity system. So the alive system is just like the system that monitors the Asax, the name of the character. It monitors his life support and his breathing and his heartbeat and stuff like that. And then the intensity system is monitoring like the ambience, right? Where you are, the lighting, uh, how many enemies are you fighting or have you fight in the last moments, etc. So they are using AI to control these systems. So, for example, in the intensity system, if you are going back to a, I don't know, to a room you already cleared, like maybe an hour ago, but you are gonna go back because you wanna pick something you left, or you wanna re-explore it, right? Um, so the intensity system is tracking how much you are feeling that intensity or that thrill, right? And then it's gonna decide what to do eh, to you so you feel that excitement. So, for example, it's gonna make some noises, it's gonna change some lighting, or maybe it's gonna respawn some enemies, even though you already cleared the way back. But it's gonna do something so you don't feel like you're bored, right? Like you are not doing nothing because you clear an area, then you know it's safe, right? So there is no horror or there is no thrill in that. So it's gonna do that while you are playing. They have like paid so much attention into details. For example, depending on the intensity that you are living at the moment, the breath and the action and the voice actors, it's gonna change. So, for example, it's not gonna be the same game you are playing versus the one I'm playing, right? Because maybe I get one line of dialogue, but my character was exhausted or was doing something just different that yours was doing. So the dialogue changes. So my guy's gonna feel like tired, like it's gonna or heartbeat or stuff like that. So and so the AI is gonna make the game feel different, but it's gonna make for everyone make the game feel alive all the time. You're gonna feel the intensity all the time, and I think that's key in a horror game, right? Because you are playing a horror game not because you want like to be like challenging yourself or something like that. You want to play a horror game because you want to feel that emotion, that excitement, to be on the edge of your seat all the time, right? When you walk and you kick a can and it sounds, you wanna like jump, oh my god, and look, and I know it's just a can or something like that, or it's just a chair that I just tripped, right? You wanna feel that, and using these systems and expanding on already beloved IP, right? It's considered one of the best horror games ever made, period. So it's huge. They have Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. So they have a lore, and they are doing the Dead Space 1. So they have everything there to make a good remake and to make you feel excited to coming back if you already played Dead Space 1. Or if not, if you're like me and you just want to play a new game, a horror game that keeps you excited, you're basically going to play against these mutant zombies. I don't know what you call them. They look amazing. They even did something really great with your enemies. So they say that they are like layers, man. So they are like three layers that you can play again. So imagine that you, I don't know, you have your shotgun and you just pull your trigger against one of these, and when you pull your trigger, you blow up one member, right? You can grab that member and stick it back and use it as a weapon to against an enemy. Then you can see the flesh as it's coming out, so it says like it peels. The enemy peels, and I've seen it. So if you shot it like in the chest, you're gonna see that part of the chest like rip off and maybe see the muscles or even part of the. So it's great. It looks great. It's amazing. You're gonna interact with everything, and you're gonna just be shitting on your pants all the time. So that's good. That's good. That's what you're expecting in a horror movie. So that's good.
Yeah, hopefully this hopefully with all these remakes, because what other word can I use with that? This game, like Dead Space, is funny because recently the problem Dead Space 1 and 2, there were I I haven't played. I never played Dead Space, sadly. I wish that all everything I know I had played, but sadly ain't nobody got time for that. But it is what it is. You gotta pick your games, especially when as you grew older, it gets complicated, and you gotta buy Tylenol and all that kind of crap to just keep yourself alive. But the problem was Dead Space 3 because they introduced microtransactions to the game.
Ah, that was a trend, man. That was a trend. Yeah.
And people will obviously get mad at it. And the people behind that's the original people behind Dead Space, uh, they got problems with the company and they left and they created their own studio, and they released a game recently that is Callisto Protocol.
Protocol. Yeah. Maybe
Uh,
looks good.
that that it looks good, but is the story and the gameplay is not that good apparently. No, the story is good. I think the gameplay is the one that is really really complicated, and hopefully this remake they take care of it like a newborn, because Dead Space always had this mechanic that it looks like they're going to improve on it. That the Isaac, I think, is the name of the protagonist.
Yeah.
Um, he's a mechanic on the ship, right?
Engineer.
So
Yeah. He's the
and
engineer.
it's his engineer exactly. He's the engineer in the ship. So he doesn't have weapons. The weapon he uses is like something he uses to cut materials for the
Sure.
ship to make repairs on the ship.
And
So the
then
way
wrap something with his hand, something like that. Yeah.
exactly, he has some kind of telekinetic powers. I don't know. Um, so the approach they did with the original Dead Space is that you don't kill enemies per se, you dismember them.
Yeah. And this one is gonna be like that. Yeah.
You cut them into pieces until you put them on the ground, and then you can stomp them and
Yeah.
actually deal with them. And then for what you're telling me, they're going to improve on that. So it looks like it's on track.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
They
Let's
did.
wait
They
and
did.
see.
I think it's on track. Okay. Your last game,
Oh,
man. Most
uh,
anticipated.
last game. Well, I wanted. I want to the next game. I haven't played the first one, so this one is a second part of a newly established game. It's not a new IP because this IP has been since forever. It's older than Harry Potter. It's older than many of the current things going on. Um, is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That will be the second. It's a continuation of the previous Star Wars Jedi,
Hmm.
um, which is was really good. So I haven't played. I haven't got the opportunity to play it myself, but I planning to, especially if this game comes out. I would love to give it a go and enjoy it for myself. But they did it. They did something really particular with Star Wars, and they focus a lot on the lightsaber combat, which is like, I mean, come on,
The
Star Wars.
best
You
part,
want
yeah.
this is Star Wars. You want to use the freaking lightsaber. That's it's nonsense. I don't want to shoot a gun in Star Wars. I want to use this lightsaber. I want to be a freaking Jedi or a thief or whatever you want to call it. So they did it a mix between the lightsaber combat and they give it a souls like, because all souls, all these type of games, souls like referring to Dark Souls, Demon Souls, the Bloodborne, Elden Ring. Now they are souls like games. They gave it this approach, so it's intense combat, but it's supposed to be really rewarding when you actually do it. So,
Right.
but not as hardcore as Elden Ring or Bloodborne, but still enjoyable for
Sure.
everyone at least. So I wanted to. I hope in here.
Hobby. This is the whole
Hope
podcast.
the basically pretty much. I wanted to do well too. Yeah, I saw the trailer on the Game of the Year award. That was fun. It
It was
was it
fun.
was a it was a cool presentation. It looked good. So
No, it got
it got, yeah.
no, it got me excited. It was, it got me excited. They showcase like grappling hooks and stuff like that. So you can have some movement, exploration. The lightsaber looks amazing. You can throw it, you can grab it back, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it. So it looks so good. I think it's one of the safest one. I think that we have to talk about because they this is not a remake. This is just a second uh, game of a already successful first one. So it looks amazing. It looks good. Uh, Star Wars, I think it's in a good place games wise. Games wise, I don't
Yeah,
know if you agree.
nah, it's like it's funny because the last three Star Wars movies they suck.
They
Like
suck. Yeah,
they suck really bad. At least I think I haven't watched the latest one because I couldn't
mm,
care less for it.
me either.
Uh, yeah, I was like,
And I have
nah.
Disney Plus, and I'm not gonna watch it. So
Yeah, I was like, nah. But somewhere where things haven't go that bad, or maybe in that specific direction or approach that we're giving to the latest movies, has been in games, in a little bit in series, not all of them or not completely, but at least with the games, they have been close to as close as you can be to the Star Wars
fandom.
uh,
Yeah,
fandom, true identity, if you want to call it, uh, the original trilogy, I guess, which is good. Which I mean, I don't see any reason why something as old but at the same time as memorable as Star Wars couldn't be successful.
hmm?
But somehow these last three movies took everything. They took like so many ideas and presenting them in such a weird way that I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I think it's just because the gaming license it's in another company, so they don't have Disney doesn't have like the creative control over Electronic Arts in this case. Um, so they can do what they want, right? With the IP, and I guess Disney just get the money, and that's it. So it's good. It's in a good state, I think. The gaming IP of Star Wars. So let's move forward to our next subject. Um, it's easy. It's the most overhyped games of 2023. Overhyped.
Oh, work. Who goes first?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna change the order that I was gonna talk to it because I think we have to address it. My first one is Howard's Legacy. I'm sorry, man. It's
That's all right.
just completely overhyped. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. It's just trying to grab nostalgia because we want Harry Potter again to be good, again to be like what when we were 15 years old. It's trying to do that, but they realize, okay, we cannot do it with Harry and Hermione and Ron. So I'm sorry, we have to do it like in the past. Okay, good, that's fine. And it looks amazing. It looks beautiful. Howard's looks beautiful. Um, the woods looks beautiful. Flying. If you see all the showcases, they try to like sell you the exploration, right? How you're gonna fly? You're flying in your broom. You're flying in a griffin. You oh look at this. You're in the castle, and you're gonna be able to do your character and choose your house, and it's gonna feel like Harry Potter. And sure, it's gonna feel like Harry Potter, but I believe that all Harry Potter games that are going to have the same issue, and it's gameplay. The combat gameplay will suck in Hogwarts Legacy, and I just want to say like that. It will suck, and let me tell you why. It's just an auto shooter. It's an auto aim technically. You are just playing with a wand, and you are not aiming, so it's not like an FPS or something like that. You are not aiming. You're arranged, but you just select the opponent you want to hit, and then you just wang your wand. You just spam your bottom until that enemy is dead.
You're just
Worst,
checking what your one.
yeah. Um, worst of all, you have the forbidden curses, right? So you have a Cadaver, which is just one click button to win. So if you choose to go into the dark magic route in Harry Potter world, you're basically just waiting for that cooldown to be done, right? Because you just kill everything with one ability, with one power. So they said, okay, you have a cooldown, but so you just use it at the beginning, defeat the hardest, and then wait for the order. So in fact, words are better. Let me show you. Let me show you what I am talking about. So let's try something here, man. Why not? Why not? So I'm gonna share with you a little clip of this is VIGN of the Dark Arts Battle Arena gameplay. Okay, do you see it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is your character. It's really nice. It looks good. The combat looks good. Let me start by saying it looks good. It looks flashy. But if you peel it down, you see how he's just selecting somehow like an auto aim which one he wants to attack. So and then
Mhm.
he's gonna click Avada Kedavra and it's gonna shoot a green bean and that's it. It's done. And then he's gonna do another one. I think this is crucial or whatever, and so it's there. Yeah, you have okay. Yeah, you have to dodge, I guess. But the problem with Harry Potter is that the world is that they are all range, right? They are range.
Mhm.
You don't
Yeah.
have melee combat, so you are doing everything range, and you are building here a range that doesn't aim. You don't control like how your magic is landing. In Harry Potter, you could miss, you could um, not perform, right? Because most of the Harry Potter magic comes from your feelings or your emotions, or the most like powerful spells, right? Comes from your emotion, from your feeling, or whatever, from your soul. So you don't get any of that. You're just auto aiming and spamming a button and just dodging. You're just dodging, and you see, he waited for the cooldown of a Cadaver, and then he just clicked it, and he won. So it's going to suck. It looks amazing. It looks amazing because it's flashy, it's new, but you are arranged. You are not aiming, not even like in a tale in a plague tale, right? Where Amisha kind of has to aim to a part, and the game helps to zoom in into that um, aiming. You're not doing anything, right? So there is like no skill in your combat other than blocking and dodging. The rest, the game is doing it for you, and you're just selecting what you see. Three times we have seen in 2 minutes Avera Kedavra. It's gonna be easy to play as a dark
Okay,
art.
I obviously I didn't came prepared to be on the spot with video and everything. That just you just pin me down like, yo, this is the game you want. Okay, so
Uh,
yeah.
Look,
See,
I don't. I'm not saying it's gonna suck, but the game as a whole, but the combat will suck. So what I'm hoping is that they have enough in the other side, like in the exploration and in building magic stuff, and building the world, that is enough for you. Now, for me, I don't know if I want to play a game just exploration and building and magical stuff and plans and stuff like that. I don't know if that's enough for me just because it has the Harry Potter name attached to it. I have to choose where I invest my money, right? It's $70. So if it's gonna be just for exploring, I'm not gonna buy it. So that's why I have it as overhyped. Um, yeah, it's just because of the combat. I think it's difficult to do like this a combat that will be engaging. Um, so that's it. That's it.
okay,
Your
okay,
turn.
uh,
Which game?
fair enough.
Fair enough.
So, um, as um, as overhyped for me, and this is maybe might be weird, like coming out as because I already talked how much I love it, I like it, I want it to do great, and all good feelings, but at the same time, I gotta be honest, and it could happen. It's a possibility.
Mhm.
Is not out of the question. I'm scared for Final Fantasy VII could part two. It could be overhyped.
So it's
It,
your most anticipated and your most overhyped. Wow.
it's because it's for the same reason because it's for that same is for those feelings that I mentioned before that is so close to you somehow in a way for not only nostalgia but because you remember yourself being young in your room in your parents' house playing when that was the biggest worry you had was the freaking homework the next day and I think I came.
Yeah.
What?
No, you're
Oh no,
good.
they're
You're
still
good.
there.
Mhm.
uh,
You're good.
so is so is I'm scared for it. It could be. It could happen that the game just is bad. It's just a bad game. They take the wrong approach. They do something that people don't like, and it's just a house of cards that can crumble so easy because no matter how hard, in this case, it doesn't apply to a house of cards, but the foundations are so solid, but at the same time, I are so fragile that it could go downhill so quickly, which scares me.
Let me let me
But
let me be
uh,
the devil's advocate here, so we can flesh it out. So the gameplay of the first part was good, I believe, and I played the intermission, and it's good. So I think they have proven that they can do classes or characters differently, and that you like and engage in. So the gameplay is good. They are not gonna change that, right? They haven't said it, anything of that. The graphics were good, were great, amazing. They are stylized, right? They are not photorealistic because that's not Final Fantasy's style. So they are good graphics, stylized. It's your character. You recognize it. The voice acting was good. So I think it boils down to screwing up the story. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that where you are most worried?
yeah, yeah, because combat they can just
If they do the same as the
yeah,
first part, we are good.
they can add mechanics, new materia, new summons, all that.
Yeah,
That's how it's going to be. If we get a new character, maybe Red 13, we're gonna he's gonna have a different gameplay, and that's gonna already improve on this.
and you're gonna get
What
Yuffie.
and
That
you gotta get UV as well, most likely, yes.
yeah,
So that's already is an extra. Um, but then it comes what we talk about at the beginning of this stream is that so much can go wrong just because you're trying to cater to this new public that is experiencing Final Fantasy for their first time, and you just focus on them and you totally forget about your main audience, that is the ones that have been there since the original Final Fantasy 7, and
okay,
that they love the story, they like it, no matter how sad, how silly, or how nonsensical can it get, but they still love it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so it's a delicate balance which
yeah. I can see that. I can see that. So they have quirky stuff, right? You have Don Corneo's or thing going on. You have the gym doing the squats. So you have like the humor of Final Fantasy, or I don't know if I can call it the Japanese humor, which some of us enjoy alike, and they can also strip Final Fantasy out of it and make it just a more, I don't know, hardcore. Just I'm gonna just all business stuff. When we enjoyed breeding chocobos in the first in the original, right? That's something I'm looking forward. Just having my own chocobo and just breeding them until I get the one I want to get, right? So yeah, I can see that how maybe they strip down some parts that maybe they feel like they are not gonna hit with the new audience, or perhaps changing the story. I hope no, but yeah, I can see how it can be the most overhyped. To tell you the truth, I haven't heard a date or anything
nah.
about when it's gonna be released. They are focusing on Final Fantasy 16 for the summer. So it's a possibility we have it late on the 2023, or even maybe get pushed to beginnings of 2024. Hopefully not. So we will wait what happened. But yeah, I feel your pain. I know you. I feel your pain. It's okay, man. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be. They
Hopefully.
have Crisis Core. You can play it. It's there, and maybe that will help
I don't
you.
I don't see myself playing Crisis Core again. I already played it originally, like on the PSP, which is I think I'm one of the few people that played it, and I know the story, and I don't think it has aged well. They made a lot of improvements on the game, like really remarkable improvements, but I don't know. I think the only people that are gonna play that Final Fantasy is people like me that already played the original. Uh, but I found it really interesting that they trying to focus a lot on this new Final Fantasy Crisis Core because they want to explain Zack a lot, a lot. Like because for what I know of this second part is that Zack is gonna be part of it. Somehow he's still alive because they rewrote Destiny. Uh,
Sure. And maybe they need to explain
and
a little bit
so
more.
people that don't know the original Final Fantasy, which they are a lot of people that might just
Sure.
know, they feel the need to explain him. So that's but it's an old game. It's a remake in every
Aspect.
sentence. Yeah, in
Yeah.
every aspect of
It's
it.
a new game. It's a new game just with a non-story. Yeah, it's a new game.
Mhm. But man, so many
Because
things.
it was a PSP, so now it's just a full PlayStation 5 slash 4 game. So yeah, it's a full AAA game. So that's good. Let's
Yep.
let's let's move on. My second most overhyped game. I'm sorry for just to have to do this, but I have to do it, and someone has to do it, and it's Diablo 4. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, everyone, but it's just Diablo 2. It's just Diablo 3. It's just Diablo 3 with some minor improvements. Um, it's gonna be overhyped because Blizzard can do still very good, very very good um, scenes and trailers and stuff. So I don't know if you have seen the Diablo 3. Yeah, I don't know if let me zoom on that. Let me zoom on that. Yeah, there it is. So it's gonna be another Diablo 3. Um, you have seen the trailers, the cinematic trailers. They look amazing. They look fantastic. If they do a movie like that cinematic trailer they revealed during the Game Awards, um, it's gonna sell. And but what I think of Diablo 4 is that the ARPG genre is packed, right? It's nowadays it's more competitive, right? So you have Lost Ark, you have PoE, um, and that are big games, and you have then other niche ARPGs, right? But these are big, huge games, competitive games that they have improved upon the genre already, and they have their issues, right? Lost Ark being a Korean MMO slash ARPG game is has its monetization issues, but you need to have a reason why to play Diablo 4, right? If you're gonna play Diablo 4, because you have options, you have free options. That's the most important part, right? PoE is free. Lost Ark is quote unquote free, but it's just money grab. But so uh, I think it's gonna be hard, and knowing Bliss Diablo team, I know they are going to monetize also upon the game. So they will have your monetization, they will have your battle pass, and they have said that it will not have pay to win games. But we all know how Diablo Immortal went, and people still remember Diablo Immortal. And I'm not a Blizzard hater like maybe Steve is in this point of his life, but I don't trust Diablo's team in particular at this point in time. So it's overhyped. It's just a great cinematic. It's just a great trailer. But at the end of the year, at the end of the of everything, it's just another ARPG where you have already good games you can play. So it's just overhyped. It's just another Diablo. Just let's just move on and just we don't have to talk
Okay.
about it. It's just
Yeah.
Diablo. It's
Yeah.
we had to do it just because
eh,
it's there. We had to do it.
yeah. Diablo Immortal just pretty much screw up drop of the good reputation Blizzard Entertainment had
Sure.
for whatever their franchises are still running. And Diablo, that is such. I never played Diablo, the first Diablo or the second. I only played Diablo 3. I like it. It was okay for me. The story was. I like it. A lot of people complain about it, but after Diablo Immoral,
Moral, yeah.
uh, things took a turn for the worse, and I wouldn't be surprised if the game doesn't uh, does well. It doesn't make the big numbers they're expecting or whatever. But it's their own fault for if that happens, because
Yeah,
what can you expect?
you're gonna go expect exactly. So, let's move on to our.
Okay.
Do you wanna?
Hey,
Do you
I
have
got
another?
I yeah,
Uh,
I got one more. I got
okay.
one more, and that's it. And it's because I never liked this franchise.
this is
I
a,
I hate this franchise.
this is a hate piece.
I don't I don't understand how, like, for me this is like it's on sports level games. uh
Oh my god.
it shouldn't be there. Like, why, what, how they're still running is Assassin's Creed Mirage. I don't expect anything good from this game. I don't expect anything remotely remarkable about it. It's just another Assassin's Creed, and I I have played Assassin's Creed, the original one, and I didn't even bought it. Someone lent it to me back in the day where you could actually lend a freaking game. Someone like, hey, I got this game. You want to play? I'm like, sure, why not? Free game. So I played the first one on PlayStation 3. It was so boring. It was so like like the first 20 minutes of the game. That's the whole game. Like,
Yeah.
it's just ransom repeat, ransom. Just do the same, do the same, do the same. That's it. There's no new mechanics. The story is over convoluted. It's totally nonsensical. It involves time traveling, so that's already a mess.
That's already a mess. Yeah.
To begin with, and somehow I don't know how many games are out there. Let me just like quick Assassin's Assassin's Creed games. I bet there's more than 10. Like one, two. Oh God.
While you count there, let me say that Assassin's Creed is not my cup of tea either, except the only one that that I think was good, and I think they should have continued down that path was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Um, I don't think they. I think this it is a mistake. They are going back to their original format, which is just at this point, as you said it, is just another Assassin's Creed game. It's just a money grab, printing money machine. So
Yeah, but I just did a quick count, and I just I just saw like 20 games. I'm like, how this is on FIFA level. This is on not only FIFA level. This is on freaking, I don't know, Call of Duty level, and we
yeah,
already know how that is going for it. Call of Duty
Call
got
of Duty is
like,
doing good, but yeah, because they have reinvented themselves, right? Because yeah, they keep doing the same Call of Duty, but they also went into the more warframe, right? Into more battle royale, if you will, stuff like that. So free to play, and they have done. My problem with Assassin's Creed is that they reinvented themselves, but then went back, right? They should have gone just with Valhalla and keep, because Valhalla was different, and just keep on going forward and until you find a new space. But if they're going back to just
doing the same type of missions once again. It's yeah, it's gonna no one's gonna care about. Well, it's gonna be overhyped because it's about Assassin's Creed, but then it's just gonna be Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, the game is gonna sell. That's
Yeah.
like Call of Duty and these sport games, these yearly release franchises that they just why they keep coming there, why they keep popping up, because they give the company the numbers. That's why
That's
it's
why.
that simple. It's
That's
that
simple.
simple.
Mhm.
It's that simple. So I understand why they keep releasing it. I don't understand why people keep buying them.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, man. It's not my cup of tea either. So last, just a quick section, just to finish, man.
Yeah, what you get?
What about this game?
Uh huh.
This is your dark horse. This is your maybe honorable mention, maybe stuff to look up. Maybe no one is paying attention to it. Maybe it's gonna be huge. Maybe not, but maybe it's gonna be just good. Give me your one.
I got two. As
Okay,
a
go
matter of
ahead.
fact,
Give me both. Give me both. It's okay.
okay. So I got one is called Oxenfree. The second part. That's a second part in a game. I don't know, but I think it will be. I play Oxenfree uh, one on PlayStation 4. It's an indie game.
Nice.
It's a really simple game, but it's enjoyable. They tell a story, so the play mechanics they're really simple. Is let's call it a puzzle game. You walk around, you go with people, you talk about. It's a teenage kind of drama. By the somehow it ends up being this time traveling multiverse parallel crap out of nowhere, but it's interesting and it touches some subjects in an interesting approach, and it's an enjoyable game. This second part, I haven't heard much about it,
Mm.
but as the first one, I didn't hear about it, but it ended up, for me at least, being a good game. Maybe the Thunderwars strike twice, and we get a second decent part. So I hoping it goes well with this one as well. And the other game that that man my best wish is just for one simple reason, and it's one voice actor that
Mm.
sadly passed away in this year, and it hit me hard when I read the news. I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
that was
Batman.
yeah.
Batman's voice actor. Yeah.
Kevin Conroy was a freaking legend. He voiced Batman. He was Batman basically. He was animated Batman in not only in the animated series like the noir Batman that we all grew up with, but also he was the voice actor in the Batman Asylum
Mm-hmm.
series. So he was Batman. No matter Kevin Conroy was Batman, and this will be his last iteration of the character and the last his last work as the Batman we all knew. So, and the game kind of looks good. The idea is really interesting because basically you have this group of psychopaths going all out on the Justice League just because somehow they turn evil and like, you know what, let's kill them. And well, among them is Batman, the Flash. I think Superman is there too, and other characters as well. Many DC, well, DC has and whatever characters they need, they already have. So it's an interesting approach. Yeah, Batman. The like Kevin Conroy is voicing Batman in this game, but
I think it's the last work he did, right?
it's his last job as Batman. So this game is gonna have and it will be at least no matter what happened to that game, if it's bad, it's good. At least I think it's gonna be remembered because of it, especially because of it, because he
Okay.
has such great impact in that character that is it was one of a kind.
It was. It was. Sure, it will. He will be remembered forever. Okay, that's good. That's good. An indie game and a not so indie game. Okay, I just got one, and it's Stellar Blade. I just fell in love with this game ever since I seen the trailers. It just looks good and it feels good to play. It's a Korean developer. It's published by PlayStation. It's just
The ass shot game. Yeah,
the
that
ass shot game. It's just zero F givens. You know, it's just a game that it's not trying to be political correct. It's not trying to sell emotions or convey anything. It's gonna be a better word. No, it's not. It's just gonna be a girl in spandex doing some crazy stunts with some questionable camera angles, and you're just gonna go have fun with it, and you're gonna laugh about it. And it's Korean, so they don't care, and it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. It's just gonna be just a great slash and hack action game with a girl character, and that's it. It's gonna be good. I think it's Celebrate. It's gonna be good. That's it. That's me. Well, man, we did it. We did it. A little bit longer than expected, but yeah, it's a filler, right? We have to give more fillers, man. So follow us on Twitter, Instagram at OnlyFillers. It's the handle for both of them. And Steve, any closing remarks?
Yeah, don't forget to check our sponsors. We don't have any. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully
And
soon.
me. but yeah, no, but it's you gotta start. You gotta begin somewhere. And this is a beginning. Hopefully, it will continue. Will you don't get sick of us, or at least the niche audience we develop. It gets bigger and bigger, but hopefully things will start and change, and we will try to schedule this to have a solid schedule moving on, because this is we're trying to to get this car running. And like I told you, Ardo, it was like the hardest part is just to start, because you can make up excuses for it, but at the end of the day, it's up to you.
Yeah. So this is for you, Felipe. Bye. Peace. Take care, man.